Back in September of 2015, in front of a group of adjacent industrial park property owners, Mayor Henderson stated, "If the city does a good job of mitigation, then loss of property values should not be an issue, and the process will identify the items and determine most cost-efficient mitigation for items of concern, noise abatement, similar to those along 401, berms and tree barriers." At the same meeting, the city manager said, in response to, "Are you going to provide city water if something happens to the well septic systems as a result of the business park with, if something should happen, the city would have to assess its level of liability?" From the proposed draft bylaw and official plan amendments, we now learn reality. Words and actions don't always match. The end result means residents living around the Northwest Industrial Park will not have noise abatement, berms, or buffer areas adjacent to their backyards. It seems the city has abandoned their words of assurances in favor of maximizing space, leaving residents exposed to the hardship of many things, such as parking lots with idling diesel trucks, reefer refrigeration units and backup beepers, or stacks of outside storage right next to their backyards. There is no transitional zones, no buffers, no mitigation to protect property values. As well, the amendments allows the city to skip out on the requirements to conduct groundwater testing to assess the risks to local residents who rely on domestic wells. The mayor's statement, "If the city does a good job of mitigation, has a very hollow ring. From city's residents' perspective, there is a very dangerous precedent being set here. Anyone close to any vacant former commercial or industrial land could end up with the same disregard of citizens' rights. Good planning ensures transition zones between residential areas and industrial zones. These proposed amendments automatically puts industry and residents at odds. It's the right thing, but they're in the wrong place, was my observation some 20 months past when hearing of the pending industrial park in the Northwest Quadrant. Now that prognosis seems to be ringing true. A few of the outstanding items: some 47 acres classed as undevelopable, and $500,000 wasted plus, and phase 3, the 8-acre parcel on Parkdale, is now isolated and extremely costly to service, perhaps upwards to $1 million, and cost unknown to replace the habitat of some 37 acres classed as endangered species habitat, and finally, incomplete financial forecasting to support financial viability at this time. Our municipality has little to show for its $2.4 million thus far. How did this happen, one might ask? One simple answer might be found in one of the requirements from the MMM group December 16 secondary report, which says the city is required to demonstrate the land is physically suitable for expansion, and you've seen this again tonight, when considering hazard lands and natural heritage. With respect to this question, Mr. Bender, 3M consultant, was asked how much of the area had he walked over, and the answer was 0. Now, if one concludes that most, if not all, senior staff are also in the 0 level of site suitability investigation, the present situation becomes understandable. Site selection on the basis of maps and drive-past analysis can be very misleading and unreliable. That's it, Mr. Chair.